Alright, what is up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to take you through a complete arms workout. Currently I'm on a split going upper lower because I'm doing a lot of running because I'm going to the Queenstown half marathon, so it's incorporating different workouts as much as I can depending on how my runs go. So today I'm going to take you through a completely raw workout, trying to focus on those trainer additions, get them back up and running, so I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so first exercise we're focusing on a dumbbell shoulder press, so I'll run you through the movement before we start. So the idea is that our dumbbells are right beside our ears and we make a rainbow effect going over our heads. So making this movement through here and concentrating on not going too far down, we put too much pressure on those ligaments in our shoulders. We keep them nice and parallel, coming up, moving across, and just like that. Okay, so I'm jumping into some 17s to warm up with, and I'll work up to about 20s and see how we go from there. So focusing, making that rainbow effect coming over our heads, focusing on not going too far down, nice and strong. See how I'm nice and controlled, I'm not rushing the movement, keeping it nice and strong, and my head's in that neutral position and putting tension on that shoulder the whole entire time. So we're looking, for my split, I'm looking for anywhere between 8 to 12 reps, but you can go between strength, which is 5 to 8, and then hypertrophy, 8 to 12, and then anyone above that is kind of that endurance and toning rep range. Alright, so moving on to our second exercise, we're looking at a lateral raise. Now with lateral raises and front raises you can kind of do each different muscle group with each different exercise, but like for the lateral raises and for the front raises, time constraints and me being a busy person I am, I like just kind of combining both of them. So I'll run you through the exercise and then I'll tell you about some key points. So when we talk about the lateral raise and the front raise, a lot of people tend to go really heavy, and now you can do that, but with heaviness you kind of sacrifice form, and with a lot of the times the muscle groups being these kind of isolated muscle groups, and the way that we want to train our shoulders to become a little bit bigger, we want to put time under tension, so the way that we want to do it is focus on more form than weight. So the idea that people kind of sway and they're trying to get all this kind of going, you're not going to get that big of a benefit rather than just being nice and straight and lifting up from there. You don't have to go any higher than that because you can see here that my shoulder is activated and I don't have any weight. Especially if you combine it with the front raise, again you can see the muscles are contracting, and at the end of the day, if you feel the squeeze and you feel your muscles working, you'll get the benefit regardless of the weight. So a lot of the time if people go too heavy and they go too high, you'll get that trap or that kind of this muscle coming through here, you'll get that activating a lot more than that lateral head of your shoulder. So the way that we want to do it, and the way that we want to focus on doing it, is coming up, feeling the squeeze, coming down, and then going straight into that front raise, again focusing on that form and time under tension. Alright, so now that we've hit the shoulders, the laterals, the fronts and overall shoulder, we've still got rear face pulls to go, but that's later in the video. We're going to move on to biceps. Now my favourite ever exercise for biceps is a dumbbell bicep curl, but there's a lot of different variations and there's a lot of things you can do wrong when you do a bicep curl. So the biggest thing people do wrong is their starting position. So the more times they spend on the outside, or let's say I'm trying to bicep curl from out here, you can already see that my shoulder's being nice and activated. And the idea, especially when we're trying to grow muscles, is that we don't incorporate other muscle groups. We want to incorporate the bicep as much as we can. So see here, it's kind of lengthened as much as it can be, but if it's out here, the shoulder's taking over as well. So we want to kind of minimize that, and the way we do that is by making sure that our shoulder is tucked in nice and tight beside our ribs, so in line with that rib cage. Tuck it in there, and then as soon as we come up and we come down, you see that contraction coming up and down through that bicep. And again, you can see I'm flexing my tricep, and that lengthens the bicep to its full capacity. So when I load it in about 2 or 3 seconds, you'll see the difference between when I'm not loading it and when I am loading it. So if I was to grab a bicep, if I was to do a bicep curl now, and it was out here, you can see, one, that's going to put a lot of stress on that elbow joint, and two, it's going to take a lot of stress on that shoulder as well, and the shoulder will take over because it's the powerful muscle group in that area. So me locking it in and then curling up through there and then curling up through here allows that contraction through the bicep, and you can see how it's concentrating that tension through there. And then when I squeeze my tricep, the bicep is lengthened, and it's going to get really, really strong through that bottom phase and those insertion points on both of those muscles there. So if I was to perform a set, curling up, pausing at the top, elbows tucked in, coming down, squeezing through, nice and strong. Alright, so now that we've finished our bicep curl, we're going to move on to a hammer curl. So it's just a different variation of a bicep movement. So the first bicep curl, you would see that there's a kind of a curvature through my bicep here. So that's what it's focusing on. It's focusing on that cupping at the bottom of your bicep. So aesthetically, that's what its purpose is for. In a hammer curl, you just literally rotate your hands from a supine to that neutral position, and as you curl up, it's working on the girth or that kind of longevity of your bicep. So incorporating things like that, make sure that your bicep is working and it's overloading. And again, coming back to the hypertrophy rep range, 8 to 12, you want to put as much tension on the muscle as you possibly can. So what I do normally, each muscle group I try and incorporate at least 2 to 3 exercises per muscle group. That way I know I'm going to fatigue the muscle regardless of the weight, and it also means from a times perspective, you've focused enough on that muscle group that it's going to grow. So what I'll do again is I'll show you an exercise, and then I'll explain the stuff that you could do better, and kind of the misinterpretations of the movement as well. So with the hammer curl, the things again that people most likely are not doing correctly or kind of don't focus on in the movement is again that elbow kind of position. So again, people try and go on the outside. What you always want to do is make sure that those elbows are tucked in, because that means your biceps activated, and trying to eliminate all those other different muscle groups that are going to come into it if it was out here. Another thing that people do wrong is they don't go all the way up. They kind of do partial reps, and that's fine for if you want to overload the muscle group. But again, you've got to think about your bicep is that long. If we're just doing it from here to here, we're only going to be strong from here to here. So if you're doing it with the 10 kilos that I'm doing now, if I'm only doing it from here to here, I'll only be stronger from here to here. As soon as I go up again, it'll be like back to square one. So always try and do the full rep unless you're trying to target that muscle group specifically. But overall, for overall development, you want to focus on kind of making sure that that movement's going up and down and that full extension of that muscle as well. So making sure that we're always putting tension on that bicep and always going full kind of movement through the whole entire exercise. Alright, So moving on to our last muscle group is the tricep. Now this is probably my favorite muscle group of the kind of arms that I love training, so I kind of emphasize this a little bit more in my training than I probably would if it was someone else or something like that. So, and it's important to realize when you're training yourself, just focus on the stuff that you enjoy doing, and kind of incorporate 1 or 2 exercises that you don't like doing, because overall, if your mood's very, very good and you're loving the workout, you will get better results naturally, just because your body's responding better, you're not dreading the workout. So I'm not saying don't incorporate the exercises you don't like doing, but try and incorporate heaps of the ones you do, and overall those ones that you didn't like doing will slowly become your favorites as well. So there's 2 variations of a tricep extension. Okay, so tricep extension is when your elbows are locked in and you're fully extending your arms down to that parallel and then coming back up into parallel position, extending, coming up to parallel, and then from there. Okay, so it's important again to keep those elbows tucked in, and it's important to always mix up the variations of a tricep extension so your muscles never get kind of accompanied to it or get used to that movement. Again, your muscles are kind of part of your body, so it does have a muscle memory, so it will remember what you do, and if you only train one specific way of training a muscle group, you'll never become overall strong in all areas of life as well. So I'll run you through both exercises and both tricep extension exercises to see which one you like doing. Definitely go try it at home as well, or in your next gym session. So cables, very, very good because you can incorporate a lot of different movements within them, and then you've also got kind of a V bar as well, which is isolating your tricep even more. So I'll do 10 reps on here, 10 reps on here, and you at home can choose which ones are your favorite and definitely work out or incorporate into your next workout. So again, I'm in this position, elbows tucked in nice and easily. I'm not caring about the weight because this is my warm-up set. Again, squeezing down, and see how I'm tearing at the bottom of this rope. What that does is allows tension on the cupping, again, like a bicep curl. It kind of cups that muscle and puts a little bit more tension on it. So again, I'm in that position where my elbows are tucked in, my eyes are in that neutral position, my back's nice and straight, and I'm focusing on squeezing at the bottom, giving that extra little bit of effort to put on that muscle group, so hopefully it grows just a little bit more. And again, time under tension is your friend in the gym, so you want to make sure that you incorporate time under tension as much as you possibly can. Don't focus on just trying to get the reps done, always try and focus on good form, and then you will get more results than you would have before. 2 more reps. Good. Cool. So now that's my warm-up set done, I'll move down to my working weight, but again, I'll show you in a different variation of that. So I like having a higher position. My levers are a little bit longer than the normal person, and I find this works for me. So again, if you can find things that work for you in terms of the same exercises, then go for it. Don't just put it up to this height just because I'm doing it. Find your position and your way of doing things, and then see how you go. Again, elbows tucked in, but you see how hard, there's no pressure on the bar. You don't want to over grip on a bar, because what happens is it incorporates your wrist, or sorry, your forearm, and that will take away from that tricep activation. Okay, so again, elbows tucked in, squeezing at the bottom. See how I'm a little bit curved? That's trying to put more tension on that tricep. Again, my head's in a neutral position, elbows tucked in, I'm going nice and slow, there's no rush. Squeezing through. Two more. Last one. And there we go. So again, time under tension and finding which one works for you, and also incorporating both will give you that overall development of your tricep and make it more enjoyable in the gym as well. Alright, so for time's sakes, because I'm quite busy at the moment, I don't normally have the hour and a half time frame that I like having to work out with. So what I've done is trying to find a superset that works for me. Again, at home, find supersets that work for you, find exercises that you like doing, incorporate them together. There's no reason why you can't. So what I do is I do a tricep extension and then working on a face pull as well. This is why a rope is really, really good, because you can do a lot of different exercises on the same machine. And again, if you go into the gym at peak times, it's really, really hard to find machines that you love working with. So sometimes you have to incorporate exercises together for time factors, and also for the fact that there might be not any equipment free. So what I do is the tricep extension I just focused on as well before. So 10 reps of those, and then also what I do is I focus on a face pull. So remember I said previous in the video that I want to focus on that rear delt, so it's right behind here. So we've worked on our lateral side, our front, our overall shoulder development, and now we're working on our rear delts as well. So the idea is that we don't want to lean back too far. We want to keep that nice strong torso through here, and then we're just pulling through there, elbows nice and high, that silver part on the rope trying to hit us on the nose, coming through, moving through there. So what I'm going to do is I'll run through 10 tricep extensions to show you the superset, and then you at home as well can try this in your next workout. So a little bit heavier now, that's my working set. Once I finish the 10, I jump straight into those face pulls, big torso, and then just trying to pull that rope apart, hit that silver part onto my forehead. Again, eyes giving that neutral position. So again, time factor, and it's also roughly incorporating two movements or two muscles that work together. When you're doing a tricep extension, your shoulders come into play as well, so it's also pre-fatiguing that going into that face pull. But if you like that, definitely incorporate it. Run through 2 more sets of that, and then I'll have a sit down and talk to you about the next little few videos coming up. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm back. I'm no longer not posting videos. So before I didn't post videos for a while, mainly because I now am working with a videographer, so that's making my life easier, and also giving him the control because he's much better at filming than I am. So I'm going to plan on trying to bring you as much content over the next 2-3 months as I possibly can. I'm going to Auckland at the end of this month for the NZ Fitness Expo, so if you have or you know anyone that's going, or you yourself are going, comment down below, and I'm going to try and get a workout in with you guys as well. And also I have a special guest that I'm now officially going to work out. Just got a text before confirming that, so look out for that. I'm going to vlog that whole entire trip. So make sure if you like the video, you leave a like rating, comment down below what you want to see in the future, whether this is Facebook or YouTube, comment down below, because it's all up to what you guys want to see. I'm more than happy to make any type of video for you guys, so comment down below, and if you like the channel, make sure you subscribe. But of course guys, I'll see you in the next one.
This is the one chance that I get, that I'll be the one you never forget.